Have you ever seen a single bite leave millions of fans completely speechless? At first, it looked like an ordinary meal between Jin and Jungkook. But then, Jin suddenly leaned in and fed Jungkook, creating a moment so unexpectedly sweet that fans couldn't stop replaying it. Was it just a playful gesture, or was there something much deeper hidden in that tiny interaction? The most surprising part wasn't the bite itself, it was Jungkook's reaction right after. His expression changed in a split second, and ARMY immediately started sharing their own theories. So, what exactly happened between them, and why is this simple moment becoming one of the most talked about Jinkook interactions? Stay until the end, because you might notice the one detail almost everyone miss. First, no one thought this meal would become one of the most unforgettable moments between Jin and Jungkook. It looks simple. Just two members sitting together, surrounded by tea, desserts, and quiet conversations. There were no grand performances, no flashing lights, and no dramatic announcements. Everything felt calm, ordinary, almost too ordinary to attract any attention. Then, without warning, everything changed in a single heartbeat. Jin reached toward Jungkook with a small bite of food, and for a brief moment, time seemed to stop. It wasn't the food that captured everyone's attention. It was the silence that followed. Jungkook's expression shifted ever so slightly, and that tiny reaction instantly became the center of countless discussions. Fans couldn't stop replaying the clip, slowing it down frame by frame, wondering if they had just witnessed something much more meaningful than a playful gesture. Some believed it was simply two close friends sharing a comfortable moment. Others were convinced there was an unspoken story hidden behind that brief interaction. Why did Jungkook react the way he did? Why did Jin smile so naturally afterward? And why did everyone around them seem completely unaware that a moment lasting only seconds would soon spread across social media and capture millions of views? The more people watched, the more questions appeared. Every glance, every movement, every tiny pause seemed to reveal a new detail that had been overlooked before. It was one of those rare moments where the smallest action created the biggest conversation. But there was one detail that almost nobody noticed. It happened immediately after Jin fed Jungkook. It lasted less than a second, yet many fans believe it completely changed the meaning of the entire interaction. Once you notice it, it's almost impossible to see the moment the same way again. Watch closely until the very end, because the detail everyone is talking about isn't the bite itself. It's what happened immediately after. Everyone expected Jin and Jungkook to enjoy a peaceful afternoon together. The table was filled with elegant desserts, warm tea, and quiet conversation. Nothing about the atmosphere suggested that millions of fans would soon be replaying the same few seconds over and over again. It looked like another comfortable moment between two people who had spent years growing together. No one was prepared for what happened next. Then Jin did something so natural that it almost went unnoticed. Without making a scene, he reached toward Jungkook with a small bite of food. It wasn't planned. It wasn't dramatic. It lasted only a moment. Yet somehow, that simple gesture completely changed the mood. Cameras kept rolling, but suddenly the attention was no longer on the meal. It shifted to Jungkook. For a brief second, his expression became impossible to ignore. Some viewers described it as surprise. Others believed it was quiet happiness. Many simply admitted they couldn't explain what they had just seen. The more people watched, the more impossible it became to look away. Every replay raised another question. Was it just an instinctive reaction, or was there a hidden emotion behind those few silent seconds? Soon, fans began slowing the video down frame by frame. Every glance seemed important. Every tiny movement became another clue. Even the silence between them felt louder than words. What made the moment unforgettable wasn't the food itself. It was how effortlessly everything happened, as if neither of them realized that thousands of eyes would eventually analyze every detail. But the story didn't end there. Right after that brief interaction, something incredibly subtle happened. It wasn't obvious unless you watched carefully. Most people missed it on their first viewing. Some even watched the clip 10 times before finally noticing it. Once they did, they couldn't stop talking about it. That tiny detail completely changed the way many fans interpreted the entire moment. Was it coincidence? Was it comfort built through years of friendship? Or was it simply one of those rare moments that can't be explained with words alone? No matter which answer people believed, one thing became undeniable. A gesture lasting only a second created a conversation that refused to disappear. It reminded everyone that sometimes the most unforgettable memories are never planned. They happen naturally, quietly, and almost invisibly, until someone notices them. And according to many fans, the biggest reason this moment continues to capture attention isn't because Jin fed Jungkook. It's because of what Jungkook did immediately afterward. Watch until the very last second, because the smallest detail in this entire interaction might completely change the way you see the moment. And no one expected such a quiet moment to become one of the most unforgettable interactions between Jin and Jungkook. There were no concert lights, no loud cheers, and no scripted performance. Just a table filled with desserts, two people enjoying each other's company, and a camera quietly capturing every second. It should have been another ordinary memory. Instead, it became the moment everyone couldn't stop talking about. Everything happened so naturally that most people almost missed it. Jin gently picked up a bite of food and, without any hesitation, offered it to Jungkook. There was no dramatic build-up, no playful announcement, and no attempt to draw attention. It was a simple gesture that lasted only a second. Yet somehow, it carried a feeling that words couldn't fully explain. Jungkook paused. That tiny pause became the beginning of countless discussions across the fandom. His expression changed ever so slightly, almost too quickly to notice. Some people described it as surprise. Others saw comfort. Many believed it was the kind of expression that only appears when you're completely at ease with someone you've trusted for years. Then something even more interesting happened. Instead of moving on immediately, Jin quietly watched Jungkook's reaction. It wasn't a long stare, but it was long enough for people to wonder what was going through his mind. There were no subtitles, no explanations, and no interviews telling everyone what the moment meant. The silence itself became part of the story. Fans immediately began analyzing every frame. Videos were slowed down. Screenshots appeared everywhere. People compared different camera angles, searching for details that others hadn't noticed. Every replay seemed to reveal something new. A small smile, a brief glance, a nearly invisible change in body language. Suddenly, a moment that lasted only seconds became something people could discuss for hours. Some insisted it was nothing more than a sweet interaction between close friends who had spent years sharing unforgettable memories together. Others believed there was a deeper emotional layer hidden beneath the surface. The truth was that nobody could say for certain. And perhaps that uncertainty was exactly what made the moment so powerful. The more people searched for answers, the more mysterious it became. Every theory created another question. Every explanation left another detail unanswered. It wasn't the kind of moment that could be solved by watching it once. It demanded another replay, then another, then one more. But hidden within all those replays was one detail that almost everyone overlooked. It happened immediately after Jungkook accepted the bite. For less than a second, his eyes shifted in a direction that most viewers never noticed on their first watch. It wasn't dramatic enough to become a headline, yet it completely changed the atmosphere of the entire interaction. Fans who eventually spotted it claimed that this tiny movement revealed more than the feeding itself. Was it appreciation? Was it quiet affection between lifelong friends? Or was it simply an unconscious reaction that became meaningful only because millions of people were watching? No official explanation was ever given. The silence remained. And somehow, that silence spoke louder than words ever could. Even today, people continue returning to those few seconds, convinced that every replay reveals something different. Some see warmth, others see trust. Some simply see two people sharing a comfortable moment that needed no explanation at all. Yet one question continues to remain unanswered. If this was truly just an ordinary meal, then why are millions of people still watching the exact same few seconds, searching for the one detail they might have missed the first time?